If you would like more videos like this, consider joining my online library. It's only $15.99 per month, and you can cancel at any time. Here you'll get weekly uploads of new videos around pain management yoga, restorative yoga, Ashtanga yoga, chakra yoga, all sorts. So head to www.yogatraveleronline/membership to join. Hello, let's spend a little time today in the front of our hips. And if you have not a lot of time to do yoga, you can just do this and stretch out the hip flexors and a little bit of the outer hip as well. All you'll need is one block. We're going to start laying on our back with our knees bent. Then place the block on the middle height. So this is the middle, the long edge underneath your hips. Right on that bony part of the hips. Most of your glutes should be probably laying off of that block there. So it's supporting you. Even here, you might feel a little stretch through the hip flexors, just depending on how flexible you are. Now let's reach up our right hand and grab our right leg. We're going to run our hand down our shin, grab that ankle, and pull it down so that the top of the foot is pressing into the mat. If you'd like to keep holding with your hand, you can. I'll move it though so you can see. Do you see how the shin and the top of the foot is stretching? And then you might feel some length right here through this hip flexor and probably into the quadricep too. So we're just gonna hold. There's a lot of things going on. Some people feel this mostly in the foot, some people in the shin. It's really, I'm intending it for the hip flexor, but look at all these benefits that you're getting just from doing this one pose. We're just going to breathe and feel it work. When we do poses like this, we don't move through them quickly. We allow the body to relax into the pose a little bit so that hopefully there's some shifting of tension, easing of tension, that kind of thing. Good. Let's take one more breath right here. Inhale. Exhale. Nicely done. Now use your hand to guide it out. Try not to slingshot it out. And take that right ankle to the left knee. Now use your hand to just gently press into that hip flexor, opening it up right through there, and then extend the right leg on the mat. Your left leg is still bent. So now we get all this length down the front of that hip. Maybe a little bit of low abdominals right here. That feels nice too. You might shake it just a little bit. That kind of feels nice. Moving within the hip socket. Good. And then place that foot down. Nice job. Adjust on your block if you need it. We're going to work on our back in a minute, I promise, because I know it's intense. Let's reach with our left hand. Slide it down the shin of your left leg all the way to your foot there and guide that foot back. And you can't see this side quite as well, but it's there. Put the top of the foot on the floor and feel that hip flexor and the quadricep again. Maybe it's more for the top of your foot and shin. That might be the dominant area that you're feeling. Everybody's so different, so there's no wrong feeling unless it's really painful, and then that is wrong. Stop. Listen to your body, yes. Good. Do you feel it relaxing? Hopefully, I feel mine relaxing. Good. Now let's release. Use your hand to release. Bring your left ankle to your right knee. With your hand, you can gently press, kind of release this front of the hip flexor. And then extend the leg down so that left leg is straight, and you can shake it a little bit, or you can just hold still, feeling all of that energy and shift down the front of your leg there. Good. One more breath right here. Inhale. Exhale. Come back to the center. Place the feet. Move the block. Ooh, our low back is going to need some love. Let's pull the knees into our chest. And just for a moment, rock across that sacrum, really adjusting your pelvis. This is now shortening the hip flexors. That's okay though. We have to give attention to our opposite muscle group. Then just hold still and feel the stillness and the pressing down of that low back to the floor. We're going to do one more thing that will stretch both the low back and the hip flexor. So 2 for 1 is going to be great. Let's roll over and just press ourselves up. Sit back and extend your right leg back behind you and the left leg in front. Now, if you are pretty inflexible in your hips, you can place a blanket or a bolster under you to help lift you and get you a little more comfortable within this position. You can tell if you're leaning way over to the side. You just need a little elevation right under this left hip here. So as we bring our right arm across, imagine this right hip pointing forward like a headlight. So it's going to lift and twist as we take our hand behind and our hand to the knee. Here's where we can really feel it nicely on the low back as we turn the whole torso. Plus we might get a little stretch right here through this hip flexor and quadricep. So this is sacrum in the low back. Hips are involved there too, and the front of the hip as well. This is a variation of a traditional yoga pose. It's a little more free for the hips. It just gives this mobility to this right hip to lift. And that's what we want for our purposes today. Good. Good. Beautiful. Come forward. We're just going to simply switch. Sitting here, having that ability to free this left hip as we guide it across. Feel the left hip lift. Turn our gaze back and really squeeze that low back. Even as we're squeezing back here, this whole front of our body is free. We have so much room for breath and motion. Good. Come forward. Nicely done. Unwind. Thank you for joining me today. If you only have a few minutes, just do this. Just a couple of stretches and twists to really get some motion, some release of tension in the hip flexors, quadriceps, and low back too. So thanks for joining me today.